Sicily Tour 5. Embrace hybrid identity and liminal wisdom in Ustica. Who are you when the winds of change carve new paths in your life? Today on Ustica Unbound, we'll explore the island, wander Cala Sidoti's black sands and Grotta Azzurra's sapphire depths, feeling how place shapes self. Unpack hybridity, from Spivak to Bhabha. Discover how identity can be both rooted and fluid, like Ustica's volcanic rock and shifting tides. Practice and apply. Journal, breathe, and set a micro-goal to embrace your own in-between spaces, whether at sea, in the city, or anywhere life takes you. Ready to see yourself through Ustica's light? Let's begin. See with me the soft surf lapping the volcanic black sands of Cala Sidoti. Listen to distant calls of seabirds, and on your skin feel a gentle breeze sighing through the Aleppo pines. Welcome to Ustica, Sicily's hidden gem, where sea, sky, and stone come together in a quiet symphony of light and shadow. Imagine your bare feet on ancient lava, each grain of volcanic sand a reminder that both the island and our own identities are shaped by the ebb and flow of time. Here, the Aleppo pines whisper stories of distant coasts, and seabirds call out like guardians of forgotten coves. Today, we will meander along sun-bleached alleys, peer into crystalline grottos, and taste salty sea spray on our lips, each moment an invitation to notice how we, too, carry the tension between being anchored and adrift. In Ustica's winding paths, we'll discover that identity need not be rigid. It can shift like the winds that dance across the water, allowing us to be both singular and manifold, steady yet continuously reborn. Identity as island and ocean. Take a deep breath and visualize slow pan over the village's sun-bleached pastel houses, a fisherman hauling nets at Porto, the volcanic crater of Monte Guardia. On Ustica, you'll meet locals whose grandparents came from Calabria, Malta, and North Africa, each bringing stories as layered as the island's basalt ridges. In daily life, identity feels simple: a name, a family, a fishing boat. Yet beneath the surface, currents of language, culture, and memory swirl, so that each of us carries within a small archipelago of selves. Post-colonial thinkers remind us that identity is never pure and, crucially, that it need not be. Gayatri Spivak urges us to attend to the subaltern within and beyond us, the voices rendered inaudible by dominant stories, the memories we tuck away when we perform a single, neat narrative about who we are. In practice, this might look like the immigrant grandmother in Palermo, whose recipes carry centuries of cross-Mediterranean exchange, but who is expected to speak only one language at the dinner table, or the teenager of mixed parentage who feels pressure to choose a single culture for school projects. Spivak's intervention asks us to listen for those hushed registers and to make space for them.
Зустрічаючи всіх гостей, які сьогодні присутні, я щоб трошечки вас підтримати, фантастичних дівчат.
And creativity are born. Think of the bilingual Londoner who invents a new poetic expression by folding Sicilian idioms into Cockney slang, or the designer who fuses North African embroidery with Italian tailoring to produce garments that announce a new belonging. These are not confused or diluted identities, they are generative ones. Taken together, Spivak and Bhabha give us a practical ethics: resist single stories, cultivate listening, and celebrate the creative work of living between worlds. The result is not loss, but a richer, more resilient self, like an island whose layers of rock tell many overlapping histories. Ustica embodies this hybridity, its grottos carved by wind and sea, its people shaped by fishermen, exiles, and visitors. Just as I dive into these waters, I dive into my own layered self, finding refuge in fluidity. Let's deep dive. Ustica's places and poetics of place together we visualize and listen to ocean sounds, footsteps on black sand, hand brushing volcanic, whisper of wind, Carpo Falconera. Feel the heat-charged stone of Carpo Falconera beneath your palm, a black rock that remembers fire and the slow patience of the earth. Hear the hawks wheel above, their wings cutting the warm-up drafts like commas in a poem. Walk with me to Punta Cavazzi. Lean into the Meltemi and you will taste Africa's old breath, a dry, resinous scent that carries stories of trade winds and threaded histories. Let your fingers comb the volcanic pebbles of Cala Sidoti. Each smooth stone is a small moon, polished by tides and time. Slide into the cool hush of Grotta Azzurra. Here, sea strings of light fracture into sapphire tunnels. The water sings in low notes and the cave translates sunlight into an other language of color. Close your eyes and imagine fishermen repairing nets in Porto. Their hands a choreography of repair and rhythm. Listen to Aleppo pines whispering like keepers of weather and memory. These places teach an elemental lesson. Be rooted enough to hold storms, and porous enough to be reshaped by them. Grounding becomes tenderness, openness becomes strength. In Ustica, the land instructs the soul, steady, patient, always ready to receive a new current. Breathe in, breathe out. You are basalt and blue water, anchored and available, a living archipelago of selves. Julia Kristeva's idea of the stranger within names a common human fact. We carry parts of ourselves that feel foreign, unsettling, even shameful. Kristeva links that interior stranger to the experience of abjection, those bits of identity we push to the margins so we appear whole. Jacques Derrida's deconstruction then tells us something complementary. Any supposed center, our neat self, our stable identity, even a community, slowly reveals faults and contradictions if we look closely. Derrida's insight, famously condensed in his aphorism, "There is no outside text," reminds us that contexts bleed into one another, nothing is purely self-contained. On Ustica, this theory becomes everyday practice. A fisherman who mends nets at dawn might, by afternoon, guide scuba divers from abroad. That same man lights candles at Madonna del Mare on feast day. The island's economy, faith, and hospitality interweave without erasing one another. Similarly, think of a British Pakistani teacher who prays at home, teaches Shakespeare at school, and cooks family recipes that carry another history. She embodies Kristeva's stranger and Derrida's decentering at once. These lived overlaps are not failures of identity, they are proof of richness. When we accept the stranger within and allow our centers to be porous, we open space for creativity, empathy, and surprising solidarities. Ustica teaches us that stability need not be purity. It can be the capacity to hold complexity. Maria Callas, opera star, visited Ustica with Aristotle Onassis USTICASAPE.IT on Ustica. The sea sang to me, its caves held light like music. I left a little quieter, and strangely more myself. Local recollection, attributed to visitors like Maria Callas. Let's use journaling prompt and reflection. Let's journal together. 2 prompts. In what ways am I like Ustica's volcanic rock, solid yet porous? Where do I allow new currents, like the Meltemi or Sirocco, into my identity? Write freely. Notice textures, memories, yearnings, just as you notice sea spray on your skin. I invite you to the following ASMR-guided integration ritual. Breathe in deeply. Feel the Aleppo pine perfume. Exhale. Repeat. I am basalt and blue water. I am wind and welcome. I am many and I am one. Let each phrase settle like a pebble in your heart. I came for silence and discovered an orchestra of wind and stone. Ustica hushes the city's clamour and teaches me to hear sea, sky, and self. Seeking quiet, I found wind and rock singing in chorus. Ustica taught me to listen, to the sea's breath, the sky's pulse, and my own small heart. I arrived hungry for stillness and left tuned to an island's music. Wind like violins, stone like drum. Here I learned to listen again. In search of silence, I met a symphony, gulls, gusts, volcanic stone. Ustica folded the city's noise away and opened my ear to deeper things. Ustica quieted the metropolis in me. Its wind strings and basalt bells taught me how to hear the sea, the sky, and the self that lives between them. I sailed for silence and found song, wind, stone, and an island's hush. Ustica taught me the simple art of listening to the world and to myself. The silence I chased became an orchestra, wind bowing the pines, waves striking the caves. Ustica taught me to listen until my own voice softened. I sought a pause and stumbled into music, wind, rock, and sea in careful conversation. Ustica shows you how to listen, how to be held by sound. In Ustica, the city's noise dissolves. The island arranges wind and stone into a teaching that makes you hear the sea, the sky, and your own hidden currents. I wanted silence. The island offered an ensemble, basalt, breeze, and blue. In that sound, I learned the patient work of listening to self and world. I came with the city in my bones. Ustica unmade it with music of wind and stone and taught me to attend to the gentle grammar of sea and sky. Searching for quiet, I found an island choir, winds tuning the cliffs, waves answering in blue. Ustica taught me to listen, not to speak first. 3-step action, embodying hybridity. Acknowledge. List 3 aspects of your identity that feel fixed to your name, role, history. Align. Choose one to open like Grotta Azzurra's entrance. Let fresh possibility flood in. Act. Set a micro goal. Today, I will listen to a story outside my circle, or I will learn a phrase in a new language. Across oceans, islands teach us hybridity, Orkney's Norse Celtic legacy, the Andaman's tribal colonial tapestry, Cape Verde's Portuguese African rhythms. Ustica is one chord in that global harmony. By embracing fluid identity, we gain not instability, but freedom. Thank you for journeying with me. If you feel your own layers shift, share your reflections below. Consider to buy me a coffee in the link below. Subscribe for more meditations at the meeting point of place, mind, and possibility. Until our next island voyage, may your winds guide you home, wherever you roam.